I'm E.
And today's video is a royal news alert, I guess. I mean, it's already been about a week or so since we found out that a queen is stepping down. Obviously, not Queen Elizabeth because, RIP. But on New Year's Eve, Queen Margrethe of Denmark announced that she'll be stepping down from the throne in mid-January and ceding it to her son, Prince Frederick. This is from an article of The Cut, which is, I believe, from the New Yorker. Her abdication has made major waves among the Danes, and not just because they're admiring this 83-year-old woman's commendable work-life boundaries. Some royal experts have suggested the queen is fast-tracking her son's ascension to the throne in order to keep his marriage intact amid rumors of an affair. Am I sensing a spin-off of The Crown? Is what the articles here kind of hinting at. Who
Queen
knows?
Elizabeth would never. She's like, I'm gonna make Charles wait a solid 70.
This is true. This is true. So, who are the characters in play here? So, first, a breakdown of the royal Danish family tree. Queen Margrethe II inherited the throne from her father, Frederick IX, in the 70s. She's a third cousin of the late Queen Elizabeth II, and she seems to have a lot in common with England's former monarch. More on that a little later. Anyway, Margrethe has two children, Crown Prince Frederick, who's first in line of the inheritance line, and his younger brother, Prince Joachim. Is it Joachim or Joachim?
I would have said Joaquin.
Or Joachim? Is Joachim? Anyway, a few years ago,
Let's know how to say it phonetically in the
yeah,
comments.
yeah. A few
American and Hispanic.
yeah, let's go ahead and give y'all a disclaimer. We are very American
And
and
very Hispanic or
very,
Latino. Latino.
very, yeah. So a few years ago, the queen got major flack for stripping Joachim's children of the royal titles, which she apologized for, reasoning that she wanted the royal duties to fall onto fewer members of the royal family. Needless to say, Joachim was not pleased. But we're much more interested in what's going on with Frederick. Oh, yes, we are. Frederick married an Australian marketing consultant named Mary Donaldson, now Mary, Crown Princess of Denmark, in 2004. Side note, that means she's a commoner just like the rest of us. And they share 4 children. Their oldest child, Christian, turned 18 last year, entitling him to a new slate of duties and positions in the royal circle. Another thing Christian has going for him, he may or may not be dating another European royal named Maria Chiara di Bourbon to Sicilies. Not sure who she is, but we'll find out eventually
But
because
her name is fancy though.
her name is really fancy. But
Maybe
yeah.
she's Italian. Oh, two Sicilies, Chiara.
Yeah. Maybe, because, you never know.
You never know.
Mhm.
And one of these royals had an affair. It's about to get spicy.
Yeah,
So
these were-
this is what I live for, guys, and you live for it too, because you're watching our channel. So in November, while his wife was in New York for United Nations Day, Frederick was photographed hanging out with a Mexican-born socialite. Mexican, there you go, Genoveva
yeah,
Casanova in Madrid. Not much is known about Casanova, though she was once married to a Spanish
Casanova.
Casanova. Oh, Casanova. We have a friend, guys.
Yeah.
Casanova. We don't know much about her, but she was once married to a Spanish count and equestrian and shares 2 children with him.
Okay.
Mm. Before I continue, let us know in the comments, do you think something's going on? Or were they just hanging out? All right.
Mm.
According to the tabloids, Frederick and Genoveva went to a Picasso exhibit before walking around a park and heading back to her apartment to change. After reemerging in fresh clothes, they allegedly dined out together and caught a flamenco show, staying out till 1 a.m. Why do I feel like I'm intruding in their lives? Like, I'm like, oh,
This is personal.
I didn't even know it was going to get this spicy, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Sources claim that a mutual friend was originally supposed to join Frederick at an exhibit, but got sick and
Mm.
sent Casanova along because she's just so happens to be a Picasso expert.
Oh, oh.
And we're
Okay.
both all right. Casanova told Ola that her outing was purely platonic, adding that she's contacted her lawyers about squashing the rumors. The royal family has refused to comment, but at the peak of the rumor, Frederick and Mary made what looked like a deliberately united appearance in Copenhagen, where she welcomed the Spanish king and queen. Since then, the public has been obsessing over the possible cues that their marriage is ending.
Uh-oh.
Mary went to Australia alone with their two children in December before meeting up with Frederick in New Zealand. And the Daily Mail claimed that she shed a tear, in quotes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
Oh, shoot, a tear. How do they know these things?
Exactly. She shed a tear while saying goodbye to some friends at the Queensland airport. In other words, not much happened for a few months.
Mm.
Hmm. So, how does this relate to anything in the British royal family? Because we have to relate them and we have to bring them, to these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
The Queen Margrethe.
Yes.
I was practicing, guys, because I was calling her something else. Margrethe's early retirement has led to some commentators to speculate on whether King Charles will pass his throne down to William while he's still alive. He ain't gonna do Pierre. This guy really loves to spread rumors, claims William and Kate are close with Frederick and Mary and spoke to them as recently as this week. Perhaps these two couples would enjoy monarching side by side? Question mark.
Mm.
Also, Margrethe's announcement was reportedly well received in Denmark, suggesting Charles's abdication would go over smoothly across the pond. Other experts rejected this notion, pointing out that Charles has been on the throne for less than 2 years.
Mm.
It makes sense. Still, there is plenty of drama he might want to smooth over by randomly giving up his esteemed title. Maybe William and Harry could get past their differences if only they were appointed co-kings. That's not gonna happen,
Stop
guys.
it. Stop, people. That's a reach. That's a
That's
little
a reach. And not that we're saying it, the article said it, okay?
yes, exactly. Let's be explicitly clear here, because next thing you know, they're gonna accuse us of wanting to what's the word, like put Harry on the throne over William, and then it's gonna be like a whole, oh no, how dare you. Anyway, I can already see the comments
Yeah.
because
We're not saying that we like, well,
hmm,
I'll speak for myself. I like the order of things. I think it's something beautiful, the whole monarchy thing. I wish I was a queen. I
oh
understand mine. But that's like having two CEOs,
yeah,
and I know we're going off topic. It can't be. There needs to be a person, the supreme law of the land person, and that just creates a whole bunch of confusion. Just imagine Prince George, and then we have what's Prince Harry's kid's name? Archie.
Archie.
We have Archie debate. It's too much. So we're not saying that.
Right. Well, okay, so just to kind of go a little bit more into Queen Margrethe's announcement, she did this during her annual televised New Year's Eve address, and she will be abdicating the throne on January 14th, which we're like literally just a couple days away from, exactly 52 years after she inherited it. No Danish monarch has ever abdicated in over 500 years. So, she had previously said she was going to be queen until she died, just like Queen Elizabeth, her cousin.
Hmm.
But, this is a pretty big deal. And I think that, like, I read that this is in part due to some of her health issues. She's had, I think, back surgery. She's been feeling, not so great. I mean, she is kind of up there in age. And so I think that the fact that, she may want to pass things on to the next generation, it's a pretty cool thing. Especially because she will be able to enjoy her son's, monarchy, or her, yeah, like to kind of see, and then what a better example for him as the new king than to have like the
She,
previous queen,
yeah,
yeah, to like, essentially be an advisor or go to her for things. It's I think it's like a really helpful thing.
yeah.
Um but but the internet, of course, are kind of going a little crazy with this whole supposed affair situation. And I mean, it doesn't look so great to be out so late with a woman that's not your wife. But I
Have a
have,
clothes. Let's not
uh,
forget it. In her
yes.
apartment.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. And so like some of the people are speculating that yeah, it is in fact her wanting to kind of keep things together. I mean, if I were Mary, yeah, sure, let me be queen real quick. I could deal with him for a little bit longer.
Mm,
Um but I mean, supposedly, right? According to sources, the queen has always seen Mary as a tremendous asset. They'll be pitched together as king and queen, and they'll just have to basically deal and move on with all of this stuff because, you know, you got to do what you got to do. And like as Charles has learned, you're gonna get thrown stuff at you in every direction. And I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it is possible that maybe part of her decision to abdicate is to kind of like, help her son. And because like can you imagine if like he were to get a divorce? Like what would happen? I don't know what the royal rules are, but can a divorcee be on the throne? Like how would that work? That's what I'm just kind of wondering.
we've seen, our different share of things. We've seen, you
Yeah.
know, Meghan Markle. We've seen Grace Kelly. Those are divorcees, weren't they?
Meghan Markle was. I don't know that
Oh,
Grace Kelly was.
maybe she was the actress. They were both actresses. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah, that's what it
there's
was.
a lot more commoners joining. So I don't put love is love. You know. Now
Yeah.
the dating life of a king will be interesting, but I don't know. I don't think she would do it. I mean, I don't know the lady with all due, but Queen Elizabeth didn't do that when Charles was, doing his thing with his now wife,
No.
Cammy, you know? So why would she abdicate? I think she did it because of her health. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I think that that's very admirable that she's been, basically on the throne for 52 years. But I think
Yeah.
it's very exhausting,
Right. Definitely.
especially, the times are changing and you got to keep up with things and, just life. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think it's for her son, to be honest.
And then also like even just thinking about the fact that when you had monarchs in the past, right? When monarchies were a lot more abundant.
Hmm.
Um you didn't have kings and queens that were on the throne for 20, 30, 40, 50 years,
Yeah.
or even 70 like Elizabeth, because the lifespan was a lot, shorter. But now here we are. Queen Elizabeth died in her 90s. And
96.
yeah, she never she had no plans of abdicating. So I can understand that Queen Margrethe would want to, kind of at least enjoy the last few years of, or hopefully the last several years of her life. And she's in her 80s and like you
Mhm.
kind of, or at least I've noticed an uptick like on social media, in particular TikTok, of coverage of like the younger royals now. Like I knew about King Frederick's affair or alleged affair a few weeks ago, because or was it it was like, yeah, maybe about a few weeks ago, a month ago, whatever, because I'd seen the pictures and it was like this whole thing like, oh, what is he doing and what's going on with with Princess Mary and all that. And then they've also highlighted, like, for example, when his son turned 18, that turned into a thing on social media when Princess is it Sophia? The one from
Leonor.
Spain? Leonor. Princess Leonor from Spain, same thing when she turned 18. That was like a whole thing. So I think there's been kind of like a little bit of highlighting of like the younger royals. And Mary, she looks very young herself. So it'll be interesting to see like how this is all gonna go. I think the fact that people are already talking about Charles abdicating is pretty messed up. There's been articles written where people are saying he should follow suit, and fulfill his goal of slimming down the monarchy by,
By slimming himself out?
stepping down,
No.
but there's a lot of sources that also claim he's not going to follow Margrethe's example. He's going to continue on the throne. And so for him, I think, especially because he's only been there for almost 2 years, there's really not much of a reason for him to be like, oh, I think it's time, for me to like go or whatever. But you know you never know. Maybe in 10 years or so. But it is interesting also, a lot of the media coverage since Charles has become king, I think has been more hyper focused on the Waleses versus Charles and Camilla. It's pretty it's there. William is considered more popular than his father, according to YouGov. Kate Middleton and Prince William are regarded as the most popular living royal family members, with a 71% and 69% respective approval rating among those surveyed by YouGov in the final quarter of 2023. Charles, meanwhile, is at 52%. So, that's definitely a little bit less than his son and daughter-in-law. But I don't know, I think he's still going to be there for a good while.
Yeah. And, just to go back on the longevity of all these monarchs in the past,
Uh-huh.
the monarchy is very much divided from politics and things like that.
Yeah.
I think, before in history, it was like all intertwined politics, the monarchy, religion. So I think it was like way more involved. And I don't know if it was sustainable. Obviously, there was also like, you know, change in like health things, like
Yeah.
vaccines, and I'm really talking like 1500s, 1600s, or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the life expectancy wasn't that big to begin with, first of all,
Mhm.
and they definitely had to deal with a lot more. So right now I'm not too sure about Denmark's monarchy, but we know about the British. Is just a representation of history. Like it's
Yeah.
not very entrenched in how the company, not the company. Can you tell? I always think about companies. How a country runs.
Yeah.
So it's different. I don't think Charles should abdicate. Give him a solid 5. Come on, like I
Yeah.
give him 10.
And
That's
not only that, I
give
would
him
think
some respect.
10 I think 10 would be good. And then also, like, Prince William has not been the heir apparent for longer than the same amount of time Charles has been king. Like, he needs to also learn. He needs to also, kind of get his bearings. Like,
Mhm.
I know that obviously, like in recent years, when the queen's health was declining, she did enlist Prince William and Kate, to kind of step up more and all that. But it's not the same thing as having the big job. And we know obviously Charles had that job for like 70 years. So Prince William can wait. I don't think that there needs to be a rush to push him to be king already.
Yeah,
But
I
one
think
last thing that I will say, though, that the internets are commenting on. So apparently, they are comparing Princess Mary, soon to be Queen Mary, with Princess Kate. So, according to different stories and different articles, Princess Kate sees Princess Mary as her style inspo.
I have
Like,
that.
and this is supposed to be like, oh, how beautiful, how amazing, you know, that she has such an inspiration in the future queen of Denmark and this and that. But when she's compared to dressing like Meghan Markle, that's a no-no. That's a big problem. There's no way that she could possibly be emulating her sister-in-law. There's just no way. But future Queen Mary, oh yeah. Yeah. That's fine. That's perfectly fine.
But I did read an article where she was saying that, she changed her wardrobe. So, we've always seen her with like dresses, very
Yeah,
monochromatic, of that look. But she has been wearing a lot of pantsuits lately, very Hillary Clinton esque, if you
very.
could say. So the article mentioned that she was doing this just to be taken a lot more seriously, with her endeavors, with the public perception and things like that. So for, I guess, this article to say, well, she's like my style inspiration, it goes against, possibly, hey, don't look at me as a woman and style, look at me as a professional, as a woman, and with things to say, kind of thing. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, no, definitely. But, I think she could be taken more seriously if she did a lot more royal engagements, just like her husband should step up as well, because they do the least amount of royal engagements compared to the other senior working royal members. So, another reason why Charles doesn't need to abdicate, because they have not stepped up yet. So, there's that.
Well, and on that note, guys, if you have any thoughts on anything that we've covered, the abdication, Frederick and his shenanigans, um,
Frederick, we'll be
should
watching.
should Charles abdicate too? Like, just let us know what you think. It's a lot. Now I'm flustered. I have to deal with your royal correspondent here, Dee, all the time. So sometimes she just throws me off the loop. Concludes today's episode. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our videos. We're trying to grow our community, which we have, and we thank you very much. So your friends could be our friends, and we could all be friends. We also have social media, which Steve will tell you about.
We're on TikTok and Instagram at Hear Me Out DNE. So make sure you guys like, follow, share, and comment. We do enjoy interacting with y'all.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.